Hello there! I was probably just as surprised as you last night when I realised LEGO have launched another Create a Minifigure on the UK website. Over in America and Canada, they have been testing out their designer minifigure. If you've been to the Leicester Square store here in the UK or any of the other flagship LEGO stores, you may have seen, and I've shown this here very briefly on the channel, a create your own custom minifigure which lets you design the torso front and back and then pair it with legs, heads and accessories from the Builder minifigure station. But we've had this online, at least here in the UK, for quite some years now, where you can piece together some very limited head, torso, legs, hairpiece and accessory or helmet, and then purchase that online and it will be sent to your door without having to visit a LEGO store. Very handy, I'd like to point out, for those of us that don't live near a LEGO store. But LEGO are treating this like some brand new thing, and I don't think this is as good as it might seem. At first, being able to create, and I quote here, custom characters sounds really awesome, especially with the trials being run over in the Americas. Creating your own custom printed torsos online, not having to go into a store, and being able to order these in bulk. We're talking up to 40 minifigures per order. We're not quite sure if that's per household or just per order. As of yet, no one's been purchasing 40 or more minifigures, and I think it's quite easy to see why. First off, how do you access this? Well, this is only running in the UK. Very interesting choice where they've only chose it to run in the UK, where we still don't have the online minifigure factory yet. So I'm not quite sure if this is a good test population for LEGO to be doing. They know their business, so who am I to go against that? You can find this on shop under bricks and pieces, and it's called Create a Minifigure. I'm pretty sure we've seen Build a Minifigure and various titles across the year. Like I said, this is not a brand new service. They've just reskinned it and hoping that it's more popular than it was before they removed it. This opens a Create a Minifigure page where for a limited time, mix, match and create. Build your perfect minifigure, whether it's one or a whole collection. Start designing your custom characters today. It sounds really cool, and the image is just a regular minifigure in a white onesie outfit, two-piece, who knows, with a bunch of helmets, torsos and accessories surrounding them. You might notice already, these torsos are not custom. These are all pieces of the Pick a Brick or Pick and Build. Online it's called Pick a Brick, in stores it's called Pick and Build. So these are all pieces that exist on the Pick a Brick service, and it's just another interface to go through if you want some custom minifigures. Now for these minifigures, you need to select some legs, a torso, a head, a helmet and some hair. That is your complete minifigure. All 5 aspects, nothing less, and the cheapest minifigure you can build is £1.22, which is cheaper than the £2 or £2 something we pay in stores. In stores, at least here in the UK, I think it's £7 for 3 minifigures, and then it's £2 for every extra minifigure you add to your Build a Minifigure cardboard box. This minifigure doesn't really look that good, especially if you're trying to buy multiple of these. I don't think this guy is fitting in your city. So you can scroll through all the different pieces. So far, they do have a little warning when you first open it up, or a little Q&A, frequently asked questions, something like that, about different skin tones. Because at the minute, they have a few monkey kid colors, but it's all yellow heads, which you'd think they'd at least add a few different skin tones in there, but LEGO have tried to make this yellow universal, so I guess it's fair enough. With the legs, you might notice the cheap minifigure has short legs, because if you want long legs, you're gonna have to pay double the price, and this is where money starts to become a little issue. These short legs are 23p, which is fair enough, not too bad for a bunch of short legs if you were buying them in bulk to add to custom minifigures. If you want some regular size legs, you're already doubling that up to 40+ pence, and they're for, you know, black, blue and gold, the 3 most common variations of legs that are probably cheaper to pick up in various sets. I do have to say there are a few dual molded and printed legs that come fairly cheap, but a lot of the ones that you and me are probably using are a lot closer to £1 than they are these short legs. Now the torso pictured is some sort of barista apron over a green shirt, 65p, again not too shabby. But this very quickly, without even having to scroll, jumps up to £1, which is half of what we're spending on the BAM wool. And torsos are the most expensive piece. Nothing goes over £1 here before the torsos do, but we're not even including headwear. This fez is 8p and is actually more of a Lego element than a hairpiece. Hairpieces start a few pence more. Very quickly, this minifigure is becoming more than £2. Now, I'll be honest, £2 still doesn't sound like a lot for a minifigure, so I made the most expensive minifigure you can using this service, and the total for this minifigure is £19.36. Exactly the same as if I were to order these pieces off Pick-a-Brick, but I can pick them up on sites like Bricklink for a lot cheaper, not to mention if these pieces ever were in store. These pieces will never be in store, but if these pieces were ever in store, it would only cost me £2 to £3 for this minifigure. Even if you're only getting one, the minimum you can order in store is 3. So if you just wanted this minifigure, you'd be paying £7, which is almost a third of this price. So whilst it does suck that you can't get any minifigures for cheap, like I said, this is mainly for bulk ordering minifigures. So what if I wanted to order 40 Lion Knights? So after trying to scroll through their user interface, which I have to say isn't as easy as typing the element codes into Pick-a-Brick, where you still can order multiple of the same element. So personally, straight off the bat, I am not recommending this service to any of you unless you're really up for a challenge. I made a Lion Knights minifigure, £4.41. Pretty steep considering these elements are on the Build a Minifigure service, though I do have to say £2 went into just the shield element, which I'm pretty sure isn't available through Build a Minifigure, so there are alternatives which do lower it to just a little bit more than the Build a Minifigure. But by ordering 40 of these, well over £100, by the way, over £150, pretty much about 175 off the top of my head, it would have been nice to have seen some sort of reduction when we got to checkout. For every 10 minifigures, even saving £1 makes this a lot better than buying the pieces through something like Pick-a-Brick, where not only can you order minifigures, you can also order horses, bricks to fill the back of horses, longer spears, bigger elements that aren't currently available through this service, and I don't see this being a very, very popular tool. I looked into this purely for this video to see if it was worth it for Star Wars customs, and there will be more heads down the line if this is successful and takes off. I'm sure LEGO will be adding every single minifigure element to this system. But it's already so hard to use because they rank them based on price. There is no other way to sort these elements. For you and me that have no idea what LEGO charge for this, completely different to Bricklink and all the other LEGO resellers, how are we meant to find the elements we want? It's so much easier finding it on a site like Bricklink, BrickOwl, where you can look set by set, find the piece ID and type that into the Pick-a-Brick service, as opposed to trying to figure out what LEGO think it's worth. I don't think this is going to be sticking around. And when LEGO mentioned custom minifigures, being a Star Wars fan, we're thinking of that custom printing that you can now get officially in most LEGO flagship stores. And I have to say, I'm disappointed this hasn't been part of this service. If they added that into this and you could make your own torsos, and eventually, I wouldn't mind some front of the leg printing as well. Arm printing, side of the leg, too complicated. Maybe some dual molds on the leg printing rather than just plain white. But I do think that could be really, really cool. LEGO have enough legs just to whack with custom torsos in here and allow us to design or upload images. There are going to be problems with that down the road as well. But for LEGO, with the best only being good enough, it's a service I think we can expect, considering so many other websites allow custom printed torsos. LEGO do need to get on this, especially for Star Wars fans, even for Ninjago fans, adding some custom torsos to already great minifigures to represent scenes from the show, or things like Star Wars with Ben Solo with his wound from the lightsaber. Little bits like that would be really, really fun to do on lego.com. And if LEGO ever bring that here to the UK, rest assured I will be hopping straight on that and testing that out for a few Star Wars customs. But until then, we're going to have to stick with stickers, decals, or other sites, third-party sites. How long before LEGO buy a lot of these other brick-compatible companies and just absorb it like they did with Bricklink so many years ago now? But if you would like to try this out, this is on lego.com. Video's not sponsored. I don't recommend this. I do think this is a poor attempt at trying to reskin and rehash something that Lego, at least here in the UK, maybe this has only been a UK feature these past years, but I've seen this time and time again. When they have a service like Pick a Brick that now also allows you to upload CSV files, which makes it so much easier to add your wanted list onto the Lego Pick a Brick. And though it would be nice to see them implement a brick nut feature and show what isn't available, I don't think anyone's going to be using this anytime soon. And the cap at 40 minifigures does seem very, very odd. I hope that's not for a home and is just per order to make sure you're not bulk buying too many figs that Lego can't keep up. But let me know what you think about this down in the comments. I really hope Lego gets onto custom printed torsos very, very soon, especially with the likes that Nubs and a lot of other popular Star Wars minifigures are being sold on the Pick a Brick service. You add some custom torsos to some of those other Star Wars pieces, they are going to sell so fast. But until then, this is what we've got, but at least now you know and don't have to look for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Don't worry, the LED lightsabers are still coming, hopefully tomorrow. But until then, may the bricks be with you always.